It sounded simple. I gave it everything. But if you know Lewis Hamilton, if you've followed his career, his way of leading, fighting, speaking through more than just results, then you felt it. That radio message after crossing the line in Spa wasn't just about a 7th-place finish. It was something heavier, something deeper. He had just climbed from a pit lane start, overtook cars with guts and precision, and crossed the finish line after pushing like crazy. Yet there was no joy in his voice, no fight left to show off, just calm, flat, disconnected. And then came the second part, almost whispered into the mic. Sorry about this weekend, guys. Lost you some points. That wasn't just a typical race debrief. That was a driver speaking from somewhere beyond the track. It wasn't Spa that broke him. It was everything leading up to it. The entire season. Every promise Ferrari had made. Every missed opportunity. Every race that felt like a rerun of the same frustration dressed in new upgrades. Hamilton's always been the type to wear his heart on his sleeve. He celebrates with passion. He criticizes with purpose. And even when things go wrong, he usually brings the team together, lifts them up, rallies the troops. But not this time. Not in Spa. This time, the message didn't say, "We'll come back stronger." It didn't even say, "We tried." It just said, "That's all we had." Cold. Final. Like he was drawing a line in the sand. It's strange, isn't it? A top 7 finish after starting from the pit lane should feel like a success story. For most drivers it would, but for Lewis Hamilton it felt like a warning flare. Because this isn't about position, it's about momentum, about trust. And when a 7-time world champion starts sounding like that, you know something's broken, not in the car, but in the connection between driver and team. So I want to hear from you. Do you think Hamilton's radio message was just post-race frustration? Or was it something more serious? A signal that things are unraveling inside Ferrari? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want to keep up with everything unfolding between Ferrari and Hamilton, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Your subscription is super important to us. Help us grow and reach our goal of 1,000 fans who truly live and breathe F1. Let's rewind a bit. Because before all the radio messages, before the disappointment and silence, there was something else. Hope. Ferrari didn't walk into Spa like a team lost in the midfield. No, they came in with confidence, big expectations. The paddock buzzed with talks of new upgrades, a redesigned floor, better aero balance, more rear-end grip. The feeling in the garage? This was supposed to be the turning point, but reality hit fast. From the very first session, Hamilton felt it. The car just wasn't right. The grip was inconsistent. The balance felt off. There was this twitchiness. Through the corners, a sense that the rear would step out at any moment. That's not something you can drive around, not even with Hamilton's experience. And that's the problem. All these upgrades, all this planning, and yet it felt like nothing changed. Like déjà vu, new parts, same issues. Ferrari promised a step forward, but what they delivered felt more like standing still. And when you promise progress to a driver like Hamilton, someone who came to Maranello chasing something historic, that promise has to mean something. Instead, the upgrades exposed the same weaknesses. There was no stable setup window. The rear grip was inconsistent. And the worst part? There wasn't much communication about why. In fact, that's what really started eating away at the weekend. The silence. No real debrief that made sense. No technical breakdown that explained what went wrong. Just vague language and quiet tension. That's not how you build trust. That's not how you lead a driver through a rough weekend. You could feel the mood shift. The optimism in the paddock started to fade. The body language in the garage changed. And while other teams looked like they were unlocking something, especially the ones chasing Ferrari, Hamilton's side of the garage looked confused, disconnected. So let's throw this one out to you. Were Ferrari's upgrades overhyped? Yes or no? Drop your vote in the comments. And while you're at it, Let us know what you expected from these upgrades. Also, if this video is keeping you in the loop on the real story behind the scenes, hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell too. Your support helps us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and every click makes a difference. You know what was even more unsettling than the car issues? The silence. All weekend long, the communication between Hamilton and his engineer, Riccardo Adami, felt off. There was no urgency, no spark, just bland, robotic updates lap after lap. It sounded more like someone reading from a checklist than guiding one of the greatest drivers in Formula One history through a critical race weekend. That matters a lot. Because when you're behind the wheel at 200 miles an hour, you need more than just numbers. You need rhythm, connection, clarity, and above all, trust. But what Hamilton got instead was a quiet, almost mechanical tone, like the energy had drained out of the pit wall. Compare that to what was happening on the other side of the garage with Charles Leclerc. His engineer? Calm, clear, on point. Constant feedback, strategy talk, encouragement. It felt like a team, a unit. Meanwhile, Hamilton looked like he was driving alone. That dynamic doesn't just affect results, it affects everything. Confidence, decision-making, even how hard a driver is willing to push when things aren't going perfectly. And when your race engineer sounds like they've already checked out, what does that say about the support system behind you? Now let's be real. This isn't about favoritism or sabotage. Ferrari isn't out to hurt Hamilton, but F1 is built on details, tiny ones. And when you've got one driver feeling connected, confident, and supported, while the other feels like an outsider, the results speak for themselves. Leclerc looked comfortable, composed, at one with the car. Hamilton? He was fighting it the whole way, trying to make something happen on his own. This is where trust starts to break down. When you don't feel heard, when the conversations go flat, when the energy that should carry you through a tough race just isn't there. So let me ask you something. Do you think a lack of energy and connection from the pit wall can actually hurt a driver's performance? Because from where I'm sitting, it absolutely does. Let's talk about it in the comments. And hey, if you've been following this story closely, don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe to the channel, tap the bell, and stay part of this growing F1 community. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and your support is what drives us forward. It's easy to say both drivers have the same car, same upgrades, same tools, same data. But here's the thing. Equal equipment doesn't always mean equal experience. And in Spa, that truth couldn't have been more obvious. Leclerc looked at home. His driving was sharp, confident, controlled. You could see it in the way he handled the car through high-speed corners. Calm, balanced, dialed in. Hamilton? It was a completely different story. The rear end was unpredictable. The car looked twitchy. He was constantly correcting, adjusting, reacting. It didn't look like he was racing the competition. It looked like he was wrestling the car. Now, is that just down to driving style? Maybe. Hamilton has a unique way of feeling a car, and when that feeling's not there, when the balance is off, he struggles to extract what he needs. But that's also exactly the point. Why is it that Leclerc seems to get a car that suits him more consistently? Why does the setup window always seem to land closer to his preferences? You've got to wonder if Ferrari's development path, even unintentionally, leans toward Leclerc's style. He's been with the team for years. He knows the engineers, the systems, the routines. Hamilton, on the other hand, is still integrating. And when things start to go wrong, the cracks show. Strategy choices, radio calls, tire timing, all those moments where the team has to trust the driver's instincts. That trust feels stronger on Leclerc's side. And here's the kicker. When confidence is high, everything improves. Tire wear, race pace, overtaking. Leclerc drove like someone who felt supported. Hamilton looked like someone searching for answers. That's not about talent. That's about synergy. And right now, it feels like Ferrari has two very different worlds inside the same garage. So here's a question for you. Do you think Ferrari has unintentionally built this car more around Leclerc's driving style than Hamilton's? Drop your thoughts in the comments and be honest. It's a tough conversation, but an important one. And if you're into these kinds of deep dives that go beyond the lap times, subscribe to the channel. We're building something here, a real F1 fan base. Help us hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers and stick with us for more real talk like this. By the time the checkered flag dropped and the garage monitors went dark, the most telling moment wasn't what Hamilton said. It was what he didn't say. No extended debrief, no rallying words, no energy, just a quiet walk back into the shadows of the paddock. And if you've followed Hamilton over the years, you know that silence isn't random. It's calculated, intentional. When he goes quiet, it usually means something is seriously wrong. He didn't stay long with the media. He didn't linger around the car. No eye contact with the engineers. His body language said everything. And that's where the real story sits, in the silence. Because this wasn't about one race gone bad. This was the culmination of something deeper. Weeks, maybe months of tension. The energy was missing. The belief was shaken. And when Hamilton said, "That's all we had," on the radio, you could hear it wasn't just about Spa. It was about the whole campaign. There's a difference between being disappointed and being detached. This felt like detachment. Not a meltdown, not frustration boiling over, just emotional distance. Like the fire had dimmed. That's not something you want from the driver you're hoping will bring your team back to championship glory. And make no mistake, Hamilton still has the fight in him. But even the fiercest competitor needs to believe the team around him is truly in it together. Meanwhile, on the other side of the garage, Leclerc smiled in interviews. He praised the car. The team echoed his positivity. The contrast couldn't have been more obvious. Same race, same machinery, but two completely different realities. So if both drivers are giving such different feedback, it begs the question, whose voice is Ferrari really listening to? Hamilton didn't accuse anyone. He didn't call the team out. But he did send a message. And if Ferrari doesn't hear it, really hear it, they could lose more than points. They could lose Lewis Hamilton's trust. And once that's gone, it's not easy to get back. In fact, this partnership could end long before anyone expected if the direction doesn't change, and fast. So I'll leave it with you. Do you think Hamilton is losing faith in Ferrari? Is this just a rough patch, or are we watching a slow unraveling of something that never quite clicked? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if this video gave you something to think about, help us grow. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and stay with us as this story continues to evolve. We're heading towards something bigger, and you don't want to miss it.